today we are going to make our bowls inspired by the artist Dale Chihuly. To start, you're going to have a slab of clay that we need to make larger than the outside of this bowl. You're also going to each need a bowl ready for you, and you're going to need a slip of paper with your name and room number on it. You're going to need a sponge and some water, and you're going to need a variety of texture tools and a rolling pin. So to start, I'm going to roll out my clay. I'm being very careful not to let the ends get thinner than the middle. Now this piece was an end piece from the block of clay, so it's a little harder to roll out than what you guys will be getting. And I'm trying to make it even all the way around. It's okay if it's a little bit of a wobbly organic shape, that will work fine. But if it really sticks out on one end and you're not happy with it, you can take a needle tool and trim off that part. And if you have parts that are cracked, you might want to also give that a little bit of a trim. But before you trim, check for size. Mine is actually probably a little too large. So it's okay that I'm trimming it. So I'm going to trim it, and then I want you to notice the thickness of it. Do not go thicker than this. This is a really good thickness for this. And then I'm going to take my sponge. I'm going to dip it in the water and squeeze it out in the water. And then, so it's just damp, and now I can go around my clay and smooth out any cracks or any rough edges. This is a bowl that you're going to be able to eat out of, so we want to make sure we prepare the clay for that. You don't want any rough edges, because when you go to drink the milk left over from your Fruit Loops that just tastes delicious, you don't want it to be sharp. So I'm going to flip mine, and I'm actually going to do this side as well. So it has nice soft edges. Okay, now I'm ready to start to add texture to my thing, to my slip. Now, a lot of the texture tools I know are very exciting, and you are going to want to use everything. But you will regret if you use everything when your bowl is finished. You want to have a well thought out bowl to do. So for example, I'm going to start by doing one line of this pattern around the outside of my bowl. Okay, now I have room in the middle. So maybe I'm going to then use this roller and I'd like to go ahead and use this guy around the outside edge. Oops, you have to turn him so he faces the right way. Okay, and then I have room in the center for one more. Now, not every tool is going to work here. There's not enough room for things. So I need to find a tool that will fit well. So now maybe I'm going to take this shape and I'm going to repeat it. See how I rock it? And there I have my slab ready to go. Now I need my bowl, and I'm going to carefully lift up my slab. And this is called the slump method, because we're going to slump the clay into the bowl. If I were doing it from the other side and lay this over it, this would be called the hump method. But we are doing the slump method, so we're not doing that. So I'm going to take my bowl, my slab of clay. I'm going to try to center it over my bowl so that my bowl's in the center. Now, one of the reasons why we wanted the clay kind of thick is because now we need to stretch the clay a little bit. So my sponge is damp, not wet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my clay and use the sponge a little at a time on each side to help push it down into the bottom of the bowl. And because I'm doing it gently with the sponge, my textures are remaining intact. Because I didn't make my textures too deep, my clay is not ripping. If you make your textures too deep, your clay will rip. And I'm going to press it, make sure the bottom goes flat with the bowl. Otherwise, you're going to have a very wobbly bowl of cereal. Or guacamole, or what else you're putting in this bowl. Okay, so now I got the bottom. Now I can ripple the top. And however I position it, that is how my bowl is going to dry. So this part is being, sometimes the clay will do this naturally. It'll ripple as you go in. You may not want to go in so ripple it too, like push it in too far like that, because then you can't get to anything. You still want an open bowl, but you're going to position it like this. There you go. You want to make sure that it's pressed on the bottom. Take the sponge and clean off any cracks around the outside, any crumbs. Give it a little gentle wipe. Then you're going to take your name, put it inside it, and the teacher will get your name on the outside of the bowl as they start to dry. They're going to just lift right outside of this bowl. We'll fire it, and then you're going to be able to choose glaze colors to glaze your bowl. And that's how you're going to make your Dale Chihuly bowls.